was driving Mouse home from work when I noticed the generator light was coming on a little bit at stoplights. I heard a little squeaking now and then, and the squeaking eventually got worse until the generator light was all the way on and the belt was burning on the pulley. I could smell burning rubber in the cabin. So let's go pull that generator off and see what it looks like. Oh, there's one more. Alright. I'd say based on our clues, we did pretty well with this one. This thing lasted quite a while. Yeah, I cannot turn it with my hands. So that is definitely what locked up in there. Fortunately, we have something new. This was at the warehouse at Napa. I'm so impressed. It looks like the same one. The posts are in the same place, so I think we can move this here pulley over. Might have to clean that up though too. Of course now it wants to move, doesn't it? Thing is still smoking, but I think we can pull it off now. It took a little doing, but it came off. We're gonna pop this in the probably degreaser and then some rust remover, and we'll get that ready to throw some paint on. Then we can throw it on the new generator, and while we're doing that, we may as well do the bracket too. But I'm not just gonna sit around. I have some new spark plugs for this thing and some new wiper blades. I'm gonna put those on, and we will go to Ace, get some new bolts, and just make the thing look a little bit nicer every time we touch it. Well, I got good news and bad news. The good news is that the spark plugs and wiper blades went on just fine. The bad news is that I decided to take that generator adjustment bracket off that holds the tension on the belt, and the pivot bolt on that snapped off inside the water pump. So I guess this is turning into a generator and water pump replacement video. Gosh, it's a pretty nice day outside. We got some paint stuff curing here. Over here we have that cleaned up pulley. I put that in rust remover and then painted it up nice. Now it's time to drain that coolant out and we can pull the water pump off. Before I can go and pull this water pump off, I need to pull the pulley off and the fans. So there are 4 bolts, looks like 1/2-inch heads on the front. I'm going to try to warm that up a little bit, see if we can pop those out without snapping them off. Oh yeah, that comes up great. Sweet. There are some connections we want to unhook on this thing before we pull the water pump off. One of them is this line that goes up to the carburetor to prevent icing of the carburetor. So I'm going to get that nice and hot and try to get some oil to seep into that. I also have the large lower radiator hose over here, and there's another a heater hose just to unhook with a hose clamp. So this is the difficult one. We'll see if we can get this thing off. Starting to glow a little bit. I'm fairly sure the tube nut would come loose if I got it in a vise and really heated it up from all the way around. but it might be best to leave it be from here. You get to sit by and watch, don't you? I tried to make a short video about this radiator hose, but it didn't work out. The original hose went all the way from the water pump over around the fuel pump and then back into the radiator. It was bad. You can't get them, they're not available. So I got a fab shop to weld together 2 elbows of aluminum. They got them Summit Racing, so they TIG welded that together, and now it has a kind of U shape of aluminum and 2 kind of standard radiator hoses. So that works a lot better. It's kind of future-proof from that perspective. I believe this hose is from a Jaguar XKE, so it's pretty easy to get. The other one's from a Dodge Dakota, and then this one's from a Subaru. So all pretty standard stuff, and you don't have to worry about trying to find new old stock hoses or any of that crap. The big downside is that it's kind of hard to move out of the way sometimes. So that's a thing, but it can be done, which is the important thing, and the truck's on the road. This lower heater hose has to be disconnected. Upper one goes into the thermostat, and the lower one goes to the water pump. Yikes. I think it's time to stop procrastinating and start working on these bolts on the water pump itself. Without looking at the water pump gasket I bought on eBay, I think there are 3 bolts in the water pump, so let's pop those off, 9/16 heads, and see how that works. I'm kind of nervous about this because one of them I already broke. So I'll fast forward quite a bit here. I cannot get this water pump to move, so I'm pulling off the thermostat above it. I got this thing loose earlier, which is nice. But then I realized I don't know what to do once it's loose. I can't really turn this thing off. It hits all kinds of stuff. Anyway, that's ready to come out when I get the water pump off. I don't know what this thing is. This seems like it should be plugged up, but I don't know. I guess it's not been pumping coolant out of there, so maybe I don't worry about it. So I tried putting a wedge in here. Let's see if I can do it again. Get a little tension on it. Maybe I can break part of the gasket free. This thing's kicking my butt. It seems that this is pretty rusted on, so it's not going to want to slide straight off. I tried wedging. I tried crowbarring, and nothing's taken this thing off yet. So I think it's time to take a putty knife in there and try to wedge a little bit more. I don't want to mess anything up. Seems like it might be working a little bit. Let's get a little wedge in. Will this work at all? I think this is my only option right now. I just don't see any other way to get this thing out. Pretty good. Oh, jeez. We finally have some movement on this gasket. So I can see that it is really pivoting against this one bolt. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. I think I may have made some progress. I wanted to make sure that I can pull this side out, but not the other side. Make sure I can get this off the stud. So I put the bolt in the top here pretty loosely, didn't tighten it down very much. Then I drove this chisel in to get this side to have tension on it. Then I kind of loosened this up and then tightened it a little bit. And it looks like I may have a small crack. I don't know if you can see this at all. Let's turn the light on. I have a small crack between the water pump and the block. So I'm gonna see if I can widen that out and get something else in there. And we'll see if we can get this thing off. And hammer this in a little. We can tighten this up a little bit more because we have that leverage. Sweet. So I think it's pulling off of the stud here, which is the whole idea. Using this as a pivot and then pushing this down gives us more leverage on this. So I'm gonna go get that putty knife that just fell, see if we can get that thing back in and keep working on this. I still got some left. I'm gonna keep working this thing, trying to wedge it and pivot it and see if I can get that thing all the way off of this stud. We'll check back when I get it done. Well, I can see my bolt is getting tight over here, so I'm gonna take that out. I'm feeling really good about this right now. I think it's working. Oh, it's coming, isn't it? I can feel the impeller touching. Oh, there we go, there we go. Oh yeah, we got it. So, there we go. Bearing feels awesome, actually. I'm not worried about that at all. Yeah, we don't have a stuck stud in there. This thing is, it's beautiful. Oh yeah. It was literally just rusted inside the water pump housing. That is the best possible scenario, isn't it? Yeah. Holy crap. Triumph. Nice. Beautiful. Actually, the threads look perfect. Now the GoPro can see what I can't, and it can see the water jacket inside that block. Very cool. So I get to go clean this thing up. I'm not going to paint the block yet. No time for that, but we got the water pump out, and that is the good part. And I don't think I need to get the water pump rebuilt at this point. I do want to, but I think the bearings are good. I think the seal's good. May as well just paint it up and put it back in. At this point, get the job done, get the truck back on the road. Got the water pump inside now on the vise. Let's see if we can get this nut free from the line. Yeah. Sweet. It looks beautiful. Tapered pipe thread. A little bit harder, yep. Oh yeah. That one's also a tapered pipe thread. A little harder to get out, but all the threads look perfect in there. Awesome. This thing is ready to get sanded down and painted. I'm going to do this coating onto this line, but first I need to get this adapter off and get the nut freed up. Let's do that. Actually, what I'm going to do here is flip this up like that. heat. Here we go. Nice. Very nice. Got a box going for all my powder coating stuff. I'm gonna get all this done. I spray painted this, I think last year, but hasn't held up very well. Gonna get this aluminum little radiator hose thing done once I get that hose off of it. Those are the numbers for the hose if you do this job yourself. And this one I'm gonna paint. So there's not much left to do here. Well, that job spun out of control pretty quick, but I got it back in control pretty quick too. I think my wrenching skills have improved a lot in the past few years, and I'm very happy that I'm able to get this thing off without damaging it. The powder coating is probably going to take a couple weeks, so I'm going to cut it off here, send this out to you guys. You can enjoy it while we get this other stuff done. Join me next time when we install this stuff. We're going to do all the new coating. We're going to do the linseed oil coating, and we'll show you how all that goes, how everything goes back together, and take the truck for a drive. Thanks for being here with me. Press on.